All right. So, a Game Scout, my fellow David, just dropped a 17.5-minute video about our match in Milwaukee. And I've been like popping off for like the past 20 minutes now. My friend just called me. I told him I'm gonna have to call you back when I'm less hype because this is just the coolest thing ever. Like, Game Scout, if you're watching this means so much to me. Also, I have a problem with talking too much, so I'm gonna try and start the video before long. But I'm just so hyped right now, so I thought I'd record my reaction. Maybe this will go on YouTube. Maybe I'll scrap it. Who knows? But we'll go ahead and start. Also, I already watched the first 4 minutes of it before I paused and decided I should record. So here we go.
This is me playing David Michael J in the semifinals of the 2023 Classic Tetris Midwest Regional Championship in Milwaukee, of which the winner would receive a cash prize and free entry into the annual World Championships in Portland. David Michael J was one of the best players in the world. He'd finished 14th at the 2022 World Championships and had just won the Illinois Regional Championship the previous month. Meanwhile, I was definitely not one of the best players in the world. And I didn't know it yet, but I was about to have the best game of my entire Tetris career. And
can I just say how much of an honor it is to be the opponent on someone's best game of their career? That's freaking awesome.
Almost pull off the biggest upset ever in an official Classic Tetris World Champion.
Also, I don't like the beard that I had here, but you know, I like to play around with facial hair. So
Championships event. In this video, I'll be breaking down how it happened. First,
if this was a battle of the beards, GameScout would have won easily.
It's worth explaining how I know this would have been the biggest upset ever, because no, that's not actually hyperbole or clickbait. So the Classic Tetris ELO project has kept track of over 30,000 official matches in order to create an ELO rating for every player, similar to chess. The system is pretty complex, but a brief explanation is that everyone has a numerical rating based on their match history and lifetime high scores. The primary way that ratings change is when two people play a match, some fancy math determines how many points each player deserves to gain or lose, depending on who wins. Generally, you don't get many points if you beat someone with a much lower rating, but you get a significant amount of points if you beat someone who's roughly equal to you, and a lot more points if you beat someone who's much higher. And over a large sample size, this can create a very accurate prediction of each player's chances of winning. So going into this match, I had an ELO rating of 1,384, whereas David Michael J had an ELO of 1,967. The worldwide numbers have changed slightly over the past month since this match happened, but to give you an idea of the discrepancy here, if we had these ELO numbers today, DMJ would be ranked 28th in the world, and I would be ranked 215th. And going into the game, the ELO odds gave me just a 3.4% chance of winning.
By the way, we're both wearing Jonas apparel. I got on the jacket, which is a Jonas reference, and then he's got on this Jonas t-shirt from what is that Jackbox game called? The t-shirt battle one. That's really funny. I love it a lot, actually.
Versus DMJ's 96.6%. Now that's pretty low odds for me, but it might not
dang,
have been
I'm
as
so
low as
good.
you were expecting. After all, I had about a 1 in 30 chance of winning. Surely at least one upset like that would have happened before, right? Well, the thing is, matches like this with these kind of lopsided odds don't happen much at the highest levels of competition. The ELO project actually keeps track of all the biggest ELO upsets, and these are the top 10. The thing about these upsets is that 9 of them happened in ELO battles, Eat My ELO, Tetris Deathmatch, and Tetris for Non-Pros, which are lower stakes events where players can build up their match history and gain competitive experience. The only match on this list that happened in an official World Championships event is this one between Liepenfren and Nenu in the 2021 Singapore qualifier, where Liepenfren barely pulled off the match victory, winning 3 games to 2. The difference in their ELO rating for this match was 558, whereas between DMJ and I, the difference was 583. So according to ELO, this matchup literally would be the biggest upset ever in the history of Tetris World Championships events if I could pull off a win. And my own competitive history kind of explains why these matchups are so rare. The basic format of regional championship events is that players have several hours to put up qualifying scores to seed themselves into what is most commonly an 8, 12, or 16 person bracket for head-to-head matchups. If there's a lot of elite world-class players at regionals...
By the way, this was Waco. Me and Scout were there also. DMJ, Scout. Doge beat me, but, you know, he won Masters, so What can you do?
Person bracket for head-to-head matchups. If there's a lot of elite world-class players at a regional, someone of my skill level likely isn't even going to make it in. For example, the New Jersey regional back in January had an astounding 6 players who were ranked top 50 in ELO in the world, and an additional 2 players who were in the top 100. There were only 8 spots in the bracket, so predictably, I qualified 9th seed and didn't make it in. If there's only a couple world-class players at a regional or a bigger bracket, I can typically get somewhere in the lower ring of the seeds, but I've always faced players significantly better than me in the top 8 and never gotten past that round. But the Wisconsin Regional was actually the dream scenario for someone around my skill level. There were 2 elite world-class players there, Coster and DMJ, but I was actually pretty evenly matched against almost everyone else, and it was a 12-person bracket. DMJ and Coster predictably nabbed the top 2 seeds, but I managed to qualify with the 4th seed, which was just enough to earn a bye for the first round between the 5th through 12th seeds. And then for the first time ever in the top 8, I faced a lower seed in Barrett, who was very close to my skill level, and I managed to win the 3-game set when Barrett had an unfortunate early top out in the final game. So this was the first time I'd ever made it as far as the semifinals, to face one of the top dogs of the event. I was already completely satisfied with my performance at this point, and anything on out would be gravy. So let's dive into the match. This was a best of 5 set, so the first to 3 victories wins the match. To briefly explain the rules, there's no garbage sending here like there is in modern Tetris. I'm just trying to get a higher score than DMJ before my game ends when the speed gets too fast for me to play.
I haven't even rewatched this.
The way to do this is to score as many 4-line clears or
So this is my first time rewatching this also, so I'm really excited to see his breakdown. He does pretty good breakdowns, honestly.
Tetris as possible, which are worth by far the most points.
Oh,
unlike
the
modern versions of Tetris, where you're
go.
guaranteed to get the line piece once every 7 pieces, here the pieces are basically completely random. So both of us are building single column holes called wells on the right for Tetrises, with a sloping board that gives us options to burn if a line piece doesn't come. Our scores can be used to calculate which player has the lead in the deficit, and also how many Tetrises separate us, which is the most important thing for game strategy. I'm periodically looking over at DMJ's screen to see how big the difference is and how aggressive I should play, but predictably DMJ is outplaying me and is already several Tetrises ahead in score. I'm having to burn a lot more singles, doubles, and triples than he is. And unfortunately for me, this is still the portion of the game that's on level 18. This is the easy part. Once we each clear 130 lines, we reach level 19, where the speed of the game increases by 50% and it becomes a lot more difficult to get Tetrises. Unsurprisingly, DMJ's lead is hovering around 4 to 5 Tetrises at this point. By level 23, he's only widened things further. Almost 200,000 points
How does he lose
ahead,
this, bro?
A 6.5 Tetris lead. This is the kind of beatdown you would expect with our difference in skill level.
Oh,
but by level 24, I've finally gotten in a position to start scoring Tetrises, and suddenly DMJ is struggling. None of his pieces are going to the left, and he quickly tops out. What the heck happened here? The answer has to do with playstyles. There's 3 playstyles in NES Tetris. Dash, which uses the built-in piece movement speed when you hold the buttons down, hyper tapping, where you mash your buttons with your finger to move the pieces faster, and rolling, which is the fastest play style, where you roll your fingers across the back of
3 goats right here. Mr. Valor, Trap Zone, and Burb Wizard. It's not really important to the story, but I don't know, I just love seeing them.
The controller to push it into the finger on the top. I simply can't hyper tap fast enough for it to be an advantage, and rolling is incredibly difficult and takes hundreds of hours to master, so I primarily play with DAS, which limits me to only being able to put pieces on parts of the playing field. DMJ, however, is one of those players that has put in hundreds of hours to master rolling, and it's part of the reason he's a top player. But surprisingly, he was actually using DAS at the Wisconsin tournament. DMJ told me afterwards that he was playing with DAS because since he was facing DAS players, he felt it made things a little more fair. But even as a DAS player, he's still far more skilled than most. He'd easily swept his way through the top 8 when his opponent couldn't make it past the level 19 transition. And of course, in game 1 against me, he'd still managed to build an enormous lead before DAS couldn't get this piece over, and he spiraled into topping out. And I actually have a pretty urgent time limit to chase down this score. In about 50 lines or 5 levels, I'm going to hit level 29, where the speed doubles and it's impossible to get pieces to the side with DAS. After spending
this deficit is not line outable. Like 128,000 points in 35 lines, not easy.
2 levels burning single,
especially with the pressure. So I forgot that he did this. This is kind of insane.
Doubles and triples and only getting about 1 Tetris's worth of points, I
probably still
finally
think I
get
win.
set up and knock down a clean Tetris. I'm 2.5 Tetrises behind now, 3 Tetrises would win it. I start to push my aggression. This is a pretty high stack for Das, but it pays off and I get another Tetris. I pole vault an S piece to the left and get another Tetris. Suddenly I'm just 2/3 of a Tetris from winning. Level 29 is looming. I could just barely win it before then if I got singles and doubles, but I want to win it with a Tetris. So I set it up and knock it down for the win and say, oh my gosh. I top out intentionally on level 27 and I'm just completely shocked. This was the first time I'd ever scored over 700,000 in a tournament game.
Really? Really? He had a max out by then, so I guess before then, if you're a 900k PB player, you don't really get 700ks that often. GG though, you should have played it out.
I just completely crash and burn past level 19 and it's a struggle for me to get Tetrises there at all. But now I'm up 1-0 against one of the best in the world. And this wasn't actually the best game of my Tetris career. That's still yet to come. In game 2, somehow I'm off to an even better start. I've managed to get a small lead going into the level 19 transition, so now I'm in the driver's seat. And DMJ is again struck level 19 transition.
Okay.
And so now I'm in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
And
I would have thought you should tuck that. This, I don't know. My DAS was probably I didn't feel too confident, so try not to tuck. I usually try not to tuck, honestly. I think you can play fine without it, but...
And DMJ is again struggling with a dig. He's trying to put this L piece over on the left.
Oh, I don't get it over?
Important pieces when you're high up on the board, because Das can actually get it over and help you dig out of messes. But DMJ has a devastating misdrop. It looks like it might have been from
doing? Oh, I could have got out the whole thing. This is the worst thing that you can do, though, because you can only burn one line. This red one right here. And then you got to build all the way up to this level to clear, and then you got to get something over. Like, you cannot clear any of these 3 empty spaces. That is terrible. I mean, you want to do anything. Like, you just, even if you create messes in the middle, you want to keep this column filled out.
Pole vault attempt, but regardless, there's almost no hope to dig down from this.
And then I don't even skim.
And he quickly tops out. Since I'm already ahead, I get an automatic win, and I say, what? No way. I can't believe that I'm actually up 2 games.
This is where I become a villain. I am sorry for anyone who thinks I'm being disrespectful here. I'm about to have a lot of haters.
To not. And yeah, even though I won again, this wasn't my best game yet either. But now, DMJ has had enough of playing with Das. He reaches for his backpack and pulls out his controller that he uses to play with rolling. Even though I just needed 1 win to advance, it would now be an uphill battle.
Hey, it's still interesting though, okay? I need 3, he needs 1, okay?
Facing DMJ the roller. I knew I just had to hang in there and hope he made a mistake.
It's not like it's a decider.
By the level 19 transition in game 3, DMJ had built up a 4.5 Tetris lead. Not insurmountable, of course, but I'd have a lot of work to do. And then unfortunately, I had a stacking blunder. I should have placed this Z piece here in the center, but...
Yeah. Well, hang on. With the square coming up next... I mean, if you wanted to make the I dependency and then just hope for an L or J to fill out the left, that could be fine. Although, no, yeah, he is right. Placing it there and then square here, and you have like space on the right and space in the middle to put stuff in, is amazing. Because also, if he puts it here, then he'll have like a spot on the right for an S and a spot in the middle for a Z, 2 of the hardest pizzas, and he has a spot for both of them that will take an instant burn.
This Z piece here in the center, but instead I placed it off to the side, creating an extra LJ dependency and destabilizing the stack.
Not even the second best move, probably.
Blunder.
Second best move with this is probably to block that L dependency. Put it right there. I'm talking too much.
I should have placed this Z piece here in the center, but instead I placed it off to the side, creating an extra LJ dependency and destabilizing the stack. And then of course, I would end up getting 2 squares in a row. No clean spot to place them, but in the center. I now have a line piece dependency and have no idea how long I'll have to wait until I get one. I try to keep the dependency open as long as possible, but eventually it's too high. I figure I gotta burn it down any way I can, so I opt for a dirty double with his J
Don't
piece,
tell me it comes
and
next.
immediately
Oh,
know I messed up.
Fuck out of here, game.
The line piece comes directly afterwards. And unfortunately I mess up again because I'm mentally in the mode of trying to get material to the left,
That's a
but
quick
I
tap.
know I can't get the line piece over vertically at that height, so I place it flat and block a perfect place for the square coming next. Now I'm thrown off rhythm and quickly top out. DMJ gets a game back, it's now 2-1. But just 3 lines into the beginning of game 4, DMJ gets this L piece and plans to place it here, but then sees a J piece coming next. If he puts
What do
the
I
L
do?
piece here instead, he can set up a perfect spot to put the J piece for a double. So he tries to make the last second adjustment, but misses.
Oh, man. This is why I don't get too fancy, man. My tournament life flashed before my eyes right here, dude. Look at my face. Look at my face. I'm behind also. Holy 3 lines in, what are you doing?
This is it, and is quickly in huge trouble. This could be the lucky break I was hoping for. I can't help but keep looking over at DMJ's board to see if I'm about to win. But this is where the rolling playstyle shines. If DMJ made that misdrop with Das, it would have been game over. But rolling is fast enough that basically, as long as there's still space left anywhere on the board, he can get a piece there. After a bunch of flawless piece placements, DMJ manages to open up the stack again and rip over a line piece for the Tetris to get back down to safety.
I'm in serious mode right there. Like no smile either.
I told DMJ, nice job, and he responded that he was motivated throughout the dig by thinking of the potential YouTube title I might make if he didn't.
Wait, I did say that. What? I remember saying that. Oh my gosh. Oh man. I did not want to see that video of GameScout. I beat a roller. Oh gosh. And I got a video in it. Do you think he made this video because of that comment? Dude. I can't believe he remembered that. Or did he hear it on the replay? I don't know. But he's so right.
Get out of it. By level 20, things are still close. I'm only about a Tetris behind and we're both in the middle of digs, but I make a really bad misdrop with an L piece. And unfortunately, Daz can't recover from mistakes like this the same way Rolling can. I try my best, but I blunder with an L piece that should have gone over to the left, but I try placing it on the right and instantly know it's game over. DMJ has tied things up, and now we're in a winner takes all.
Those placements are really hard to see under pressure, though, in his defense. I make a lot of blunders in comp.
Game 5. It seems like I've reverted back to playing level 19 how I normally do, but I still have one more chance. And yep, game 5.
What do I say here?
Normally do, but
I don't know, bro. It is something back. I give up.
Game 5 would end up being the best game of my Tetris career. I have the strongest start of any game I've played in this match so far, transitioning with 547,000 into level 19 with a small lead.
That's crazy, dude. I usually do roll a little bit on 18. I usually mostly dash on 18, but I've gotten so good at the switch that I can switch when needed. So I basically have the mobility of rolling on 18. So the fact that he has a lead here is insane.
But then I have one of the dumbest misdrops imaginable. I'm trying to place the square here, but let go of the button just a fraction of a second too early.
And then he tries to get it there without dash.
Meaning I've lost control of the delayed auto shift. So I try to fix the misdrop by hyper tapping this L piece to the left, but my reaction time and tapping just isn't fast enough. And I whiff on getting it over and then don't get the right pieces to burn down all the way on the right. It's quickly looking like the end.
I mean, this is the greatest game of his Tetris career, so he gets out of it,
My
right?
board is a wreck, but this time I don't make the same mistake as the previous game. I see the opportunity for an L piece on the left high up and take it this time. And despite my heart pounding the whole way through, I managed to survive and do what I couldn't do in games 3 and 4. I'm still alive and have a chance. Left high up.
This is not a guarantee for anyone. I don't care if you're Tugi or, I mean, Pixelandy. You got to get the right pieces and you have to execute.
And take it this time. And despite my heart pounding the whole way through, I managed to survive and do what I couldn't do in games 3 and 4. I'm still alive and have a chance, although
He's
I
not
have
even
to
that far
spend
behind.
4 whole levels burning to clean up the mess, and DMJ has in the meantime taken a 3 Tetris lead. So I gotta start going for it. I set up a center wall
I got a
Tetris
mess.
1 row off the bottom and get it to pull within 2. DMJ gets another Tetris, but I get one right back. And the game is actually even closer than it looks, because DMJ is a few lines ahead of me. I'd theoretically have more time to make up Tetrises before level 29.
I'm like 1 Tetris ahead.
DMJ gets 2 more Tetrises, and then I get 2 more. The lead is now under 2. I've managed to go toe-to-toe with DMJ for a few levels here. I know I have to be aggressive, so I switch to a center wall again to avoid a few burns, and we both knock down Tetrises again. I'm now at 769,000, already having blown past my previous personal best competition score I set in game 1. I get another Tetris set up, but then my instincts kick in, the board feels too high, and I take a safety triple that moves me out of Tetris readiness just 2 pieces before the line piece comes.
That was a good play. Look, okay, it's not like he's on level 28 yet. He's on level 26. Okay, there's so much time. You can still take that triple.
And I have to burn another triple. But
yeah, especially with the pace. He's ahead in pace. Look, 2 Tetrises would put him ahead. Bro. I'm shaking in my boots right now, probably.
Somehow I am still in this game. DMJ's been having to burn 2, and I've remained just 2 Tetrises back while being almost a full level behind him.
But even though you're behind in pace, being ahead in score is still big, because, you know, even if they're ahead in pace, they still have to score the Tetrises to follow through on the pace. My points are already scored, so, you know, it's good in that way.
I just need to regroup and finish as strong as I can. I'm setting up for another aggressive center well. The pieces aren't ideal, but I'm trying to use as few burns as I can. And I managed to keep things open for when the line piece arrives. Slam down another Tetris, still just 2 Tetrises back, but then I get an awful Z piece. There's really only one move that I can...
An awful Z piece.
plausibly do here that would maintain the aggression needed, and that's placing it vertical on columns 1 and 2. This makes a disgusting looking board surface that could easily fall apart.
It's got
but
the
at
S,
least
though.
I'd have a chance to resolve it cleanly if I got a J or something to tuck in there, but my brain defaults to the safety option, which is to just place it flat. And
that looks like a hard line to skim.
unfortunately, the other pieces just don't resolve the board state, and I have to burn. Meanwhile, DMJ gets his final Tetris into level 29, which is normally the kill screen for Das, but with rolling, he's able to get set up for a bonus Tetris with the line piece zooming over to the side to get it. I have no chance of doing something like that. So the line piece zooming over to the side to get it. I have no chance of doing something like that. So to prepare, I have to build up a giant center well, and then hope I get the right pieces to just throw down the center once I enter level 29. I get completely square bursted, but am somehow able to still have a clean stack. If I can keep a gap free, I can potentially get an extra Tetris after level 29.
The urge to put this eyepiece in that well is incredible, but where he placed it, it's actually the best place, I think, because he has 1 line to burn, and you kind of want to save that until you need it. And if he placed it in the well, then it would be really hard not to burn this line, because you need an eyepiece for there and then certain pieces over there. But no, I think he did good.
I can potentially get an extra Tetris after level 29. I contemplate putting this L piece on the right, but I'm not sure I can get it over, so I place it here and then get a Z piece with no
That's only 1 Tetris,
and then the line piece comes, it's time to enter level 29. I try to play on it like DMJ, but all I can get is 1 more single down the center. I look over to the side and see that DMJ's won it, somehow still going strong, entering level 31. All I can do is clap and applause. DMJ's going for 1,000,000 points, known as a max out, and he's gonna manage to do it. Rolling hovering over the first digit to display as A on the score counter. And he tops out on purpose, having achieved the victory. Now you may be thinking, okay, so the only reason this match was even close was because DMJ was going easy on me by playing with Das the first 2 games?
Not true. I was trying my hardest, okay? I thought I could beat him with Das. I'm a better Das player, but I could not do it today. I was wrong.
And as soon as he switched to rolling, it was GG's. After all, he didn't even die once he got to level 29 in Game 5. But let's take a look at the next match DMJ played where he faced Koster, the other top player there. In Game 1, DMJ topped out at 642,000. In Game 2, he topped out at 423,000. And in Game 3, although he was able to use rolling to power himself all the way to level 35, he would still top out with 821,000. And Koster would end up sweeping DMJ. So rolling wasn't a silver bullet. My Game 5 score actually would have beaten...
Koster freaking humiliated me in a good way. Good GG's, Koster.
Hey, so...
I feel like I had the crowd on my side there, okay? I went an extra... what is that, 60 lines? The pressure's insane, though. Like, you know, once you get into that situation, you understand why people like Dog have trouble doing these crazy chase downs. It's like, well, you get a crowd of 50 people in front of you and your opponent's like moving around beside you, looking at your screen, and like you just trying to like focus on the game.
So rolling wasn't a silver bullet. My Game 5 score actually would have beaten all 3 of DMJ's next scores. Although...
That is so unlucky, man. That is so unlucky. It would have been pretty hype if Scout beat me. I do have to admit. I don't know, though. I'd probably been pretty mad, dissatisfied with that. But especially with the Das stunt I pulled. But
I had clutched up and gotten by far my highest score ever in competition, DMJ had also clutched up himself in that game to get the max out and advance. Even though I didn't steal the win and got the biggest upset in Tetris World Championship history, I'm satisfied with how I didn't steal the win and got the biggest upset in Tetris World Championship history. I'm satisfied with how the match went. You never want to lose without playing your best. And overall, I played well enough to finish 3rd at the event, just behind DMJ and Koster. My highest final...
GG, man. I mean, that's amazing. Like, look, Scout beat... he placed above Burb Wizard. Roller Burb Wizard, who has defeated Cheese in CTWC, man. That was the most hyped match of all time. And over Reed. The, he's not really an old school legend, but he was around in 2019. Reed, insanely good. So, beat Frank, Milo, Other Reed, Barrett, Noodles, Vince. I mean, Scout, this performance, like, he's above a lot of good players. Like, there's me and Koster, and then there's him. And that's something to be proud of.
Ranking at a regional event by a significant margin. But despite all that, my favorite part of the event wasn't even the competition itself. When I first started watching and playing Classic Tetris many years ago, my goal was to eventually just get good enough to be able to come out to events and compete. But what I wasn't expecting when I actually came out to events is that the Tetris community and all the friends I've been able to meet would be the best part. People are welcoming and gracious, and it's always a great time. These are all photos I ended up taking with my DSLR over the weekend, and in a super nice gesture, DMJ actually mailed me printouts of his favorites after the event, including one he made commemorating that I got 3rd place. Thanks, DMJ. I've done several full videos about my experience at Tetris
Scout.
events, and if you would like to watch them, I have a playlist here on screen. Thanks for watching.
Oh my gosh. This is the best moment of the year. Maybe the best moment of my life. This is my life achievement. I made a GameScout video, dude. Oh, they came out so well. I love this picture. Dude, GG's to Scout for being such a good photographer, dude. All right. This video, I rate it 100 out of 10. Okay, I'm back. I decided to read comments. It's nice to see your growth in Tetris over the years in your videos. It's insane how much you've improved. True. DMJ has a 1.2 with DAS, so it was still no slouch. Not true. I don't know where Ryan got that information. I have level 30 with DAS. These guys are pretty decent at Tetris. I love the look on your face, like, okay, party's over. Oh yeah, look at Bidwell. He's like, oh shit. Oh, Sar Jordan. Some helpful advice. The pole vault is actually counterintuitive when moving left, since it unnecessarily shifts weight back to the right, making the S piece more likely to hang somewhere on the stack. I don't understand. Oh. Oh, he's saying that the pole vault here, when he rotates it, it actually makes it closer to the stack. More likely to hit the stack. I don't know. It feels good, though. Congrats, you have improved a lot. So true. Stoichel! Yes! I finally made it into the GameScout video. Where? Oh! Keen eye. So exciting. Aw. Congratulations, Scout. Been a long time coming. You surely would have deserved to win the match. True. Much respect for DMJ playing DAS for a time was, but thank you. I thought people would hate me, you know. Usually when I'm gaming, like, I think I can just do whatever I want, right? If I want to play DAS, I can play DAS. If I want to play with my toes, I'll play with my toes, you know. But, you know, after matches, I started like thinking about, is that respectful to my opponent? Like, how do I be respectful to my opponent? And I wasn't sure if I disrespected him here, but um, I was just trying to have fun. I was trying to, you know, beat him with his playstyle to, you know, have a more prideful win, you know. And then when I realized he was going to sweep me, if I had played DAS that last game, he would have swept me easily. I almost guarantee it. I felt that it was more respectful to go back to rolling and give him 3 chances to get a win on me, you know, when I'm playing my absolute peak, you know. Bendy. 5 minutes in, and this sounds like me in Vegas 2023. I'll have to go back and watch that. I feel like I heard about that. I'm pretty sure I've seen that. I need to watch it though. The fake thumbnail? I didn't even think about it. He had to Photoshop this. Is his face Photoshopped onto someone else's body? Why is there a... Get this out of my face. Why is there a line right there? I mean, yeah. So basically the only reason this goes because D&J intentionally gave himself a hand. I mean, handicap leveled the playing field. I mean, he was able to prove that he was a better DAS player than me. So that's something. I mean, he's right, though. Okay, can we talk about how base DMJ was to use dashes to make it more fair? My man. This guy gets me. I thought the upset was he beating the best of the best. Oh. Scout's the best of the best. Yeah. You know, it was an upset for me to beat him, actually. The reverse sweep was crazy. Dan V. Weller. Oh, he's on here for upsets. Holy shit. It doesn't even say who won. Dan V got upset here by Maddie. That's so funny. Is that a Bucky's hat? Okay. Well, I'm done. Good vid scout. I loved it.